If you've ever said there are no high-paying job opportunities unless you have a degree, everything that I see requires for me to have a certification. I don't see any of these jobs that you are talking about. This video is for you. Because there are job opportunities that do exist that do not require a degree, some of them not even a certification, but most people never find them. And it's not because you're not qualified, it's because they're looking for the wrong job titles in the wrong places with the wrong filters. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how you can structure your keyword search so that you can find the job opportunities that match the skill set that you have. I need you to hear this clearly. Healthcare organizations and hospitals do not hire based on what you call yourself, based on what your degree is, or based on what your certification is. They hire you based on what your skills are classified as internally. So when people say things like, I've been applying for months, I got this degree, I have this certification, I've rewritten my resume 100 times and still nothing, almost certainly the issue usually isn't skill or that you don't have the education. It's role mapping. And this is why I'm constantly seeing comments like, those salary ranges for those positions you posted are way out of range. I've never seen anything like that before. You're competing with 100,000 other candidates that's applying for the same exact job opportunities. In my city, I need a degree or certification in order to pursue those kind of job opportunities. And I get why it feels that way. I totally understand. The big job boards are not designed to help you to find job opportunities that match your current level of experience or background. It's hard. I get it. So you probably feel like these opportunities do not exist because I've never seen them. And then on top of that, you're searching for new job opportunities with the job title you currently have, the degree that you have, or the department that you work in. And those titles are usually production titles, and other opportunities you qualify for are secretly hidden on job boards. And the jobs you qualify for are quietly hidden, not on purpose, but they're hidden on these job boards. And you feel like, you know what? I'm not seeing anything that matches my background, so I don't qualify for these kind of roles, and they don't exist. So let me just break this down a second with a few examples. Let's start with medical coding. In medical coders, there are hiring managers on other teams like revenue cycle and revenue integrity that would love to have you on their team because you have that medical coding skill set. You don't have to place yourself in a box. You may qualify for roles like audit support analyst, revenue integrity analyst or auditor, revenue cycle analyst or auditor, compliance analyst, and charge capture auditor. If you work in revenue cycle or revenue integrity, also, you may be able to target job opportunities like medical coding, medical billing, charge description master analyst, denials analyst, and revenue analytics support. If you work as a data integrity specialist, health information management specialist, compliance analyst, you may qualify for roles such as privacy analyst, risk and regulatory analyst, and HIM systems analyst, also EMPI coordinator. But here's the problem. If you only search for job titles like medical coder, medical biller, revenue cycle analyst, insurance verification specialist, you may never see any of these job titles, especially if there's some job titles you've never heard of before. They may not fall on your radar if you're not using the right set of keywords when you're performing your search that aligns with your background and what you've already done inside of the industry or what you've learned. This is why I keep getting questions like, well, the hospital I work for uses Cerner. Can I apply for Epic analyst opportunities? You should be focusing on the skill set and the things that you're doing on a day-to-day basis from an health IT perspective or a support role that connects to the EHR systems. You should be focusing on your skill and the things that you're doing on a day-to-day basis to perform your job search, not just focusing on what the job title is. Also, things like, I've worked in revenue cycle. Can I apply for IT opportunities? What job title should I be looking for? Again, you should be focusing on things that you do on a day-to-day basis that connects with the IT department. For example, if you've noticed that something was going wrong in the EHR system as far as the workflow, and let's just say, for example, you noticed that for a particular charge, the modifiers were not appending in the system, and you had to put in a tech support or a snow ticket to communicate with the IT department about something that was going wrong with the workflow inside of the system and that the modifiers were not triggered appropriately. You may have to get on the call with the IT tech support team that is handling this issue to provide some more detailed background on what you've identified. and why these modifiers need to either be auto-appended on a particular charge. What some people don't realize is that everybody that works inside of the IT department, or not everyone that works in the IT department, has a full understanding of revenue cycle, medical coding, medical billing, things of that nature. They depend on us to provide them with valuable information to help them to do their jobs. So there's a part of the process that we know and understand, and there's a part of the process that they know and understand. And we kind of learn from each other when we collaborate on things that happen inside of the healthcare system. There is always a fire to put out every single day. I used to always joke with my coworkers when I worked as a revenue integrity auditor, saying it's always something, can't never be nothing. Something is always wrong. But what you have to do whenever you are doing something, especially if you want to pivot over into IT, you should be documenting everything that you've been a part of, every single communication, what the end result was, because there is a part of the process or a collaboration here where you can leverage this as a career win inside of your resume, and it possibly could be a transferable skill that you're leveraging in your resume to make a pivot if you want to get into some IT roles. But that's just like a really small example out of so many different examples that I can even think of right now. If you're someone who's worked as a medical coder in revenue cycle or patient access and insurance verification, and you're watching this video right now, you're probably thinking to yourself, wait a minute, there have been some snow tickets or tech support tickets that I've had to put in, and where I had to, provide more detail to the IT team about what we were seeing on our end so that they can fix the issue. And yeah, there were some times where I really had to collaborate in the process to make this thing work. And you know what? As a matter of fact, it's not in my resume that I did that. Those are the things that you want to make sure that you have inside of your resume, but having a full understanding of what you've did as an end user that supported the tech side of things. And also, some people have said things to me like, I'm ready to scale up in my career, but I don't want to start over again. You don't have to start over again. You can leverage the skills that you have right now to find job opportunities that are posted on job boards that would take you up to the next level. One example that I like to provide here as far as job titles are concerned is you want to think of like a step ladder moving up. So specialist, coordinator, analyst, auditor. If you are someone who does not necessarily want to work in a leadership role, but you want leadership pay, I would say to stop at the auditor level and not pursue the lead, supervisor, manager, and director positions. But if you are someone who does want to step into leadership positions, then those would be the next steps that you would want to pursue as far as job titles are concerned that can take you up into leadership roles. But specialist, coordinator, analyst, auditor. And for me personally, I stopped once I got to an auditor level because I had no desire to be a manager. I did that before, got the t-shirt signed, and I will not go back to it. So the key here is to skill stack. Use the skills that you currently have to identify the next level job opportunities that you want to pursue that matches with your background and experience. You do not have to start over again. When I first got started inside of the healthcare industry, I was a health information specialist, and I was doing many different things up under that belt, from insurance verification, patient scheduling, intake coordinator, insurance verification, prior authorization, a lot of different things. And it was during that time in that role that I discovered my love for the revenue cycle process of healthcare. And from there, I started to pursue job titles within the healthcare revenue cycle department that had my skill set listed inside of the job description. I didn't focus on what the titles were at all. I simply focused on what my strongest skills were, and I used that to find other job opportunities. And this takes me to my next point. A lot of people think that as you move up the career ladder, that means that you're going to have more of a headache as you're getting paid more money. And for me personally, that was not the case. And you kind of tend to move away from production-based roles to non-production-based roles. And before I get into this next point, if you are someone who does not want to work in a role that has productivity standards, then you want to steer clear of medical coding and medical billing opportunities, because those roles do tend to be production-based. But earlier in my career, when I worked as a health information specialist, I did have productivity standards, and they used to drive me crazy. And earlier in my career with the stepping stone positions, I tend to be in roles that were busy work, like just constantly busy, patient-facing roles, constantly having to be on the phone with insurance companies. And I grew tired of it after about maybe like year 8 or 9, I'm like, this is getting old. Like, I'm ready to get into these analyst and auditor type roles because I don't want to have a productivity standard. I don't want to have to punch anybody's, clock to clock in and clock out. Like, I want to be on a salary where I don't have to clock in and clock out, get paid the same thing no matter what, whether I work 8 hours or whether I work 6 hours a day. I'm still going to get paid my 8 hours for the day. From my experience, what I noticed is that I moved away from the busy style kind of work to more of the auditing and data analysis, which gave me a little bit more room to breathe. And some of the things that we're doing on a day-to-day basis, it really requires for you to do some research. And so that allows you to work alone, get to the root cause of why something is happening so that we can be proactive versus reactive. And I really love that about my work as a revenue integrity auditor. I was not stressed out. I have been blessed to work for healthcare organizations that was not into the business of overworking and underpaying their candidates. I have strategically searched for job opportunities with some of the top healthcare organizations, and I have been lucky to get hired with these organizations. And when I got inside of these revenue integrity departments, I had amazing managers that really did a good job with distributing the workload and making sure that we had all of the tools necessary to be successful in what we were doing, and we didn't have productivity standards. And so as I scaled up in my career and moved into analyst and auditor type roles and got put on a annual salary basis, my stress levels actually went down. Yes, I had, more meetings, but I was cool with that. I could deal with having a meeting once a week and not having to have productivity standards and not having to be busy from the time period that I clocked in and clocked out, because I've been on the phone all day and interacting with patients all day. So for me, I would take that any day. I mean, especially if the money comes along with it. So as you scale up into higher level roles, you will move away from productivity standards and quotas and also task-based activities. And you'll move into auditing and analysis and review and decision support and being a subject matter expert. Some of you are already subject matter experts because you've been working in a role for longer than 5 years. Even if you worked in a role, let's say for 2 years, and then you went somewhere else and it's pretty much like a similar role, and then you worked in that organization for another, 3 or 4 years, you are now a subject matter expert. If you could train somebody else to do exactly what you were doing without needing a guideline or a book to show you how to train this new employee, then congratulations, you are a subject matter expert. By the way, you should put that on your resume, even if you've never been given the title of subject matter expert, if you are in fact a subject matter expert in what you've been doing. That can be true for some organizations that are into the business of overworking and underpaying their employees. It happens. I'm not going to say that it doesn't happen. But in many cases, higher pay means less busy work and more thinking work. Now let's talk about degrees and certifications, because I also see a lot of comments of people saying 99% of these job opportunities require for you to have a degree, or these job opportunities require for you to have a certification. They don't exist. And that might be true for some of the job opportunities that you've personally seen, but it's not true for the entire job market. There are remote roles that don't require a certification. There are remote roles that don't require a degree. There are roles that give you time to obtain your certification. There are roles that don't require for you to have 5+ years of experience. There are roles that will hire you and then sponsor your EPIC certification later. The issue isn't eligibility, it's discoverability. Big job boards are built to serve everyone, no matter what industry you work in. And so for that reason, it's not customized to the healthcare industry. So roles that are transition friendly, certification in progress friendly, experience heavy but credential flexible, don't require a degree, don't require certification at all, entry level roles that don't require any experience at all, get buried under hundreds and hundreds, thousands and thousands of job opportunities on a job board that is serving millions of users. And that's why to this day, people are still saying things like, I have a degree, I have a certification, and I'm not finding these job opportunities. They don't exist. Nobody's hiring. But credentials and degrees don't matter if you're applying within the wrong categories. It's gonna feel like it's really hard. So let's get into this simple framework that I call ROLE, R-O-L-E. R is role family. I want you to stop searching for your job title that you have in mind and instead start searching for role families, things that are connected to what you're doing inside of this role. For example, medical coding. Use keywords like audit, compliance, and integrity. Medical billing. Search for keywords like revenue analytics and charge capture. For health information management, search with keywords like privacy, risk, and systems. When you're performing this search, you should be combining it with either your background, so a degree that you might have, or a certification that you might have, or a different part of the industry that you have worked in before. Don't just search for the keyword by itself. Search for the keyword coupled with something that matches your background so that you can find opportunities that match what you currently have to offer, which takes me into O, opportunity filters. This is where keywords matter. When you search, add in bachelor's, associates, RHIT, RHIA, CPC. And then also remember to be careful with those acronyms. Sometimes you might have to spell it out, certified professional coder. These will surface roles that you probably never thought about or didn't know that you qualified for when you put these keyword combinations together. L is language. Some job titles may say medical coder or it may say something totally different. But what you want to pay attention to is what's being said inside the body of the job description, which is why when you're doing keyword scoring inside of Blossom, we tell you to copy and paste what's listed inside of the job description, the requirements, and what's preferred. We don't tell you to scan in what the job title says because honestly, it doesn't matter. What matters is what's being said inside of the body of the job description. So it may go into a little more detail such as audit support, data validation, revenue integrity, variance analysis. You may use those kind of keywords when you're performing your job search. And then notice that the job titles that are coming up, none of them say medical coder, or some do say medical coder, but you're seeing other job titles that you never thought of. If your search language doesn't match how job descriptions are written, you won't see the roles and the ATS will not rank you. Facts. There are applicant tracking systems and hospitals that use these systems where they are teaching companies how to write their job descriptions to find candidates. So it's important for you to know how to do this on your end so that you get matched in the system. I understand that this can be a hard and challenging task to do on your own, which is why there are software systems that can do this for you because it does take some time if you're doing this manually. But you can do this manually or you can use a system that does it for you. But when you know and understand the different terms, the keywords and the terms in general, the way that job descriptions are written, and you know how to search for them, it will help you to find these job opportunities on the bigger job boards. Last but not least is E, employer type. And this part is important because not all hospitals and healthcare organizations use the big job boards. They don't. It costs them a lot of money to post their job opportunities over there. A lot of hospitals only use their company career page. They post it there and nowhere else. And if you don't know about these hospitals or these healthcare organizations, you will never know about these job opportunities because you're not looking on their career page. Some use regional systems to post their job opportunities. So you may see these like on state-sponsored job boards. So you'll see like state government opportunities, and you'll also see the hospital opportunities within that state on the government job board. And some companies just use internal health system portals to post their job opportunities. And that's why people think these job opportunities don't exist because they've never seen them and they don't know where to find them. And this is exactly why Blossom exists. We've already searched across 6,000 hospitals and healthcare organizations to identify all of the remote opportunities that we can possibly find. And then after finding those opportunities, we go another layer deep and we categorize them by how many years of experience you need so that we can put them on the section of the job board that requires little to no experience, the ones that sponsor EPIC certification, the ones that don't require certification at all, and the ones that give you time to obtain certification if you just recently completed a program. And we also put the date that the company posted it on their job board, if the date is listed, or the date that we posted it on the job board, so that you can know how old the job posting is. I know some of you are sick and tired of seeing the job opportunities that look like they were reposted over and over again on some of the other job boards, or it'll say something like 30 plus days old. Well, how many days is it? You cannot tell. Some job postings have been posted for 4 or 5 months and you will never know, because on the bigger job boards, they just tell you 30 plus days. On Blossom, we tell you the exact date so that you can make an informed decision on whether or not you still want to apply for the job opportunity. And another thing is we have everything categorized by department, so you can see at a high level overview what other companies are paying for similar roles. You may be on the medical coding tab and see that there are companies paying anywhere between $50 to $60 an hour for a remote role, and then there are some others that are paying $20 to $25 for a remote role. And it's up to you to decide which one you want to apply for. On the other job boards, they don't make categorizing and analyzing your job search that easy. You have to figure it out on your own. And on top of that, most importantly, we post the job opportunities that never make it over onto the bigger job boards, because we are doing the search ourselves with our systems to find all of these job opportunities. So whether it makes it over to the other job boards or not, it doesn't matter, because it's going to end up on Blossom. And if the company is only using their career page to post their job opportunity, again, we are going to post it on Blossom. And this just makes your job search so much easier. So instead of guessing what the keywords are, trying to figure out what the keywords are for the opportunities you want to pursue, or scrolling, looking at irrelevant roles, trying to figure out what other job titles exist in the category that you are interested in looking for job opportunities, instead of paying an expensive resume writer to write your resume for you or to audit your resume, and it's just only one time that this is happening, yet you still are probably going to apply for dozens of roles, maybe even hundreds of roles, and you have to keyword target your resume every single time you apply for a different job opportunity. Job seekers are using Blossom to find the remote opportunities for them and categorize them, filtering them out by degree, certification, high paying, the departments, scoring their resume before applying for the job opportunities, tracking their keywords using the salary simulator, using the job tracker, and keyword matching before they hit the apply button. This is why people are paying $39 a month to use Blossom. It's cheaper than staying underpaid, it's cheaper than hiring a resume writer, and it's quicker than searching for job opportunities blind. So if you feel stuck, it's not because these job opportunities do not exist. It's not because you don't have a degree. It's not because you don't have a certification. It's not because someone isn't willing to give you a chance. It could be because your experience fits or your education fits, but you're not looking for the right job titles with the right companies with the right version of your resume. And if you're ready to stop guessing and applying for job opportunities blind, sign up for the Blossom's Career Job Board. We've already did the job search for you, and we have all of the tools embedded inside of it, all of the tips and strategies that I've been teaching to my clients for years. All right, you guys, thank you so much for tuning into this video today. And guess what? YouTube told me that 75% of you guys that are watching this channel are not subscribed. And a lot of you actually come back and watch my videos. By subscribing to this channel, liking the video, sharing if it resonated with you, especially if you share it over on LinkedIn or to someone who you know that may need to see this video, it really helps to support this channel, and it helps me to make more videos just like this. By the way, if there are any other videos that you are interested in me making, go ahead and let me know in the comments, and let me know what your biggest takeaway from this video was. And if there were any mistakes that you were making with your job search that you didn't realize that you were doing, it really can help somebody out, especially if they are traveling down a similar path as yourself. All right, so again, thank you guys for tuning in, and until next time.